guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you guys have been hanging around Instagram, you guys will know that I was recently in Korea, and as promised, I am back with a full flip through of the traveler's notebook that I took with me on my trip. I apologize for that noise. Somebody is like drilling downstairs. I don't even know. Anyway, so we are back. I am back in France. It is November 1st, and I am going to show you guys inside my traveler's notebook. You guys will notice though that I do have this little tiny passport notebook. This is the one from my wallet. I decided to just pull it out, and I will give you guys a very quick flip through in here as well at the end, but basically what we're really gonna look at is this guy. So I brought my olive traveler's notebook. This is the special edition one from a couple of years ago, and I absolutely love it. The feel is like, oh, it's so nice. And as you can see, she's chunky. Like we filled up a lot of stuff in here. And oh my God, why are you drilling right now? Anyway, hopefully it's not gonna be too loud for you guys. So taking a look. So if you guys saw the IGTV video I made, you guys will have seen some of this setup already, but my trip is over, so what does everything look like now? So I have a couple of sticky notes left. I actually did use a number of them, but I still got like 2 left here. I took out the little Korean restaurant card that was in here. I actually put it in my junk journal, and I'm keeping the laminated one for whenever I go back to Korea, so I have that. I've got my washi tape in here. I've actually left all of the ephemera that I didn't use in here because I am going to, after I film this, I'm basically going to take out the inserts and put in a new junk journal insert whenever I actually make one, and I will use this ephemera for that, so it doesn't really need to get moved anywhere. It's just gonna kind of hang out. I have some little sticky notes. So these are actually my vellum sticky notes from MUJI, and then Studio Cho gave me a couple of hers that are this cool like square size. So I have 2 different types of vellum sticky notes, and then just a bunch of ephemera in here. Again, everything that was left. So one of the things I actually got while I was in Korea was this little plastic folder, and it actually will open up so you can fit A4 sized papers, but I was using it to hold receipts while I was actually in Korea. I've obviously since emptied it out, but I'm leaving the little insert in here. So let's take a look at my first one. So this is, well, at the beginning of its life, it was a blank traveler's notebook insert, one that came with a traveler's notebook when you buy it, and I have decorated it. So as you guys can see, I have Korea 2019, and then I just have a little bit on the back here. Then I have a little decoration in the front. I just have the dates of my trip and that I was in Seoul. And then I have my index. So I have completed my index. I have journaling pages from page 18 to 48. And then I also have a little thing at the back that I will show you guys. I used most of the pages. I think there's maybe like 10-ish that I didn't use, so we'll see those once I get there. So first up, I have my little weekly overview, or the trip overview basically. So this was essentially to plan out different things. When there were days I was like, oh, tomorrow I think I want to do this, I would just pencil it in, and then if I got to it, I would erase it. But this is more like places I went rather than things I needed to do, sort of thing. And you guys will notice I didn't actually use this note section, but it was there just in case I needed it, so that worked out well. Then I have my tracking, reading, and post-trip tasks. So this was super, super handy. And I even threw in a couple of things for my language learning, or my language log. So I've since transferred all of this stuff to my normal tracker in my bullet journal. And I've also transferred the book. I only read 1 book, but I have all this space. So I wasn't sure. Sometimes when I fly, I tend to sleep. Sometimes I read, sometimes I watch TV. And this was one where I did some reading, but not very much. Then I've got my post-trip tasks. I've started filling out a couple of things here, and I actually have updated any of the things kind of in this section that I added in. I have since moved back onto my bullet journal so I can really focus on that. So basically, once I'm done filming this, I'm going to archive this. I might be super weird and fill in after a couple of days, once I filled in more of my post-trip tasks. I might actually fill in the boxes on here just for me, but I don't need to. They do all exist in my bullet journal, so I can work directly from there now that I'm home. I have my travel information and packing list. I have my wish list, which I will be doing a separate haul video, so keep an eye out for that. The only thing that I didn't get that I was kind of looking for was an obscenely large sweater and or scarf, but I'm also currently working on knitting some stuff, so like not a big deal. And then my top 10, I got through a lot of things, so I decided that I was going to save Busan for another trip, so I did not go there. I ended up not going to a sauna or getting a facial, which is okay. I have been to a Korean style sauna before. I actually went in Seattle in April, and I also have gotten a ton of skincare stuff, so I can basically do my own at-home facials. The other thing I didn't get was bakbingsu, which it's like a shaved ice with red bean, and it was just not, I don't know, I didn't really feel like anything that cold. I was still getting like hot drinks, for example, when I was going to cafes, so I just didn't really hunt that one down because I don't know, it was just a little bit too chilly for me. And then I never ended up filling out number 10, but I did get all the rest of them done. So I did go to the Hangul Museum. I got Korean barbecue with Yuna. I saw some palaces. I went to the Time. I got kimchi stew, which was great. I was originally going to try and get tteokbokki, but I basically kind of realized that that was not going to be one I was going to be able to eat there. I need to make it at home, which I'm now kicking myself. I went by my Korean shop and got kimchi last night when I got home, and I forgot to get rice cakes. Oh well, I'll have to go back and get those later. And then I also got a name stamp. So again, anything that I actually like purchased, I will show you guys in the haul video, but this was just the top 10 things I kind of wanted to like do or get while I was in Korea. I got most of them done, so 6 out of 10, which is pretty good. This was from some notes that I was taking. I ended up just printing them out and pasting them in here because it was faster and easier than rewriting everything. So I did go to a couple of, I did do most of the stuff I had planned on doing. Obviously, I didn't go to Busan, so that's gonna be the next trip. I didn't actually go to Gangnam, but I did go to the Hangul Museum because it was part of my Itaewon Day. I didn't go to Namdam Market or Garosugil, but I got kind of the other sections done. So I wandered a lot in the city, which was great. So the next one, I'm just gonna cover a couple of things. There we go. So this was just a couple of other little notes. So information on hours and how to get to the Hangul Museum, some other places to wander. I did go by Hongdae. I didn't do the other ones, although I did go by Dongdaemun, not the market, but I went by like that neighborhood a little bit my last night so that I could probably kind of cross off. Then I had a list of ideas for gifts and stuff, and just some people might actually watch these videos, so I don't want to ruin that. But just kind of like a running list of things I wanted to get, like postcards I wanted to write for different people and all of that kind of stuff. Then I have my dailies. So this is where I would put down things like I need to go by the post office, or I need to take care of a tax refund thing, like any of that kind of random stuff. But it is honestly kind of duplicated with the main like weekly or the trip overview. Like there is some duplication over here, but that's fine. So you can see there were certain days that I didn't really get some stuff done, but overall every single day I pretty much got the main things that I wanted to do, which was great. And I just had a little place to kind of jot notes down if I needed to. Then we get into journaling, which I journaled so much on this trip, which was really nice. So one of the really nice things about traveling by myself was that I got to set my schedule exactly how I wanted to. And I really wanted to like explore and wander around Seoul, but it was also a vacation. Like I really wanted to be able to also take some downtime because work has been like really hectic and all of that. I didn't want to, you know, go while I was in Seoul and then come back and immediately get sick or just feel like I needed another vacation. So I did take a lot of time to just like sit and write stuff down and just like chill out in cafes, and it was fantastic. So I did decorate all of my journaling spreads. This was like my time to go crazy and not be super minimalistic, and I had a lot of fun with it, as you guys can see. So I actually started on Monday because that was the day that I went into Paris. We had some train strikes that were happening, and I wasn't sure if it was going to affect me getting into Paris Tuesday morning, so I just ended up going in Monday night. So I took some time and I wrote for Monday, and then the rest is all for my trip. So you guys can see lots and lots of stuff. I very intentionally, I'm using unlined paper, so my lines are not like super straight all the time, but I very intentionally used a 0.4 pen. It's actually, I don't have it right here with me, but it is a Juice Up Pilot Giuseppe 0.4 because I wanted something that was just gonna be kind of easy to write with. And I didn't worry about writing super small because I had the entire spread, like I had the entire insert that I wanted to finish up. So this is like kind of my messy journaling handwriting, if you will. So I don't know, I just had fun playing around doing the different spreads. I did different like kind of themes. So for example, this one was like vintage posty. This one was coffee. This was like vintage ladies in sewing, because there's like this big old sticker down here. This was like really random, like I don't even know what was going on with this one. I had the like teacups and stuff. Just had a lot of fun like designing and decorating the spreads, doing kind of different layouts and playing around with washi tape and stickers, which I don't really do very much anymore because everything in my bullet journal is pretty like low key. Like the biggest thing I do in my bullet journal now is I use different colored pens when I do my spreads and stuff like that. But yeah, this was just kind of a place for me to go crazy. These actually are stickers that Una sent me, Studio Cho. She sent me these in Happy Mail, like, I don't even know. It was probably the first Happy Mail, so like a year ago, maybe? I don't even know. So they were super cute to use in here. And yeah, just had a lot of fun journaling and having a really nice like written record of my trip, and also playing with stickers, obviously. That was super fun. So this is, I actually used the different vellum. It's kind of hard to see here, but I've got a vellum here and I've got another one over here. So I have the rectangle and the square, just to kind of play around with layering and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I had a lot of journaling pages, like honestly more than I expected. And I actually did journal this morning in here because I got home last night and I was so tired that I really didn't like finish out my day. So I wanted to make sure I just kind of wrapped up everything that happened on Thursday and do kind of like a final recap of my trip. And yeah, so this is like kind of the official end of my journaling section for my trip. And then I do have a couple of pages left. I think, like I said, I think it's like 8 or 10, something like that, up through here. And then one of the things that I did, actually while I was still in Korea, one of the last days, I started kind of blocking out some ideas for the next time I go to Korea. I'm already thinking about that, yes. So I just had some ideas of maybe doing some language immersion, some other stuff. And I also have some ideas because there's actually a Korean language school in my town, and I'd like to start taking classes from them. Whether or not I start this year or next year, we'll see, because they're basically on like the school year. And they started at the end of September, so I've already missed like a month and a half of classes. So I might ask and see if I could start this year, but if not, then I'll just plan to start for next school year. So this information I actually am going to need to transfer to, for example, to a spread in my Projo, but while I was thinking about it, I went to write this stuff down while I was in Korea. So that is kind of the last page there. And then we have my junk journal. So my junk journal has definitely chunked up. I'm glad I did kind of as many pages as I did. I think I've used most of the pages, but not all of them, because I did make it kind of large just to make sure I had enough space for the trip. So let's take a peek. So nothing is currently in my pocket. I honestly almost never keep things in the pocket. I tend to stick everything in the junk journal, but sometimes while I'm working, if I have something that I haven't yet decided, I'll sometimes stick it in that pocket just in case. So I've got my little vellum with the dates of my trip. And I actually found some ginkgo leaves, so I picked up a couple of those. I have 2 that I'm going to stick on my board that's in my over my desk, and then I had 2 that I stuck in here. So you'll see here, like there's not much here, but I wanted to keep this like intro page looking nice. Then I have, so this was just this is a piece of paper I got. It's not actually the receipt that I got, so I like wrote the information on it. But I went to have abalone porridge, which is like a super classic porridge that they have in Korea, and it's really, really good. I actually went with Una, so I just kind of wrote about that in here. I have my little entry card, and this was just a pullout it was from the National Palace Museum. So I really like this picture, so I just stuck it down and then put my little entry card on here. Then I have information from my trip and all of that kind of stuff. This was the first meal I had in Korea. This was my ticket to get from the airport to Seoul. I have This is the same exact information, just in Korean and in English. So it is the chronology of one of the palaces that I went to. So I thought that would be a cool thing to have in there, look back on. The pamphlet was huge though, so that's why I kind of messily teared everything out to make it fit. Oops, oh my gosh. So hold on a second, got some tip-ins going on. So this is a pamphlet they had this really cool exhibit. It was only from the 1st to the 31st of October, and I went on the 30th, so like I really timed that well. And it is about the like makeup that this one princess used back in like the Joseon era, and so they actually excavated some stuff like a couple of years ago and then did some analyses on it. So I just put the pamphlet in there because that was a really cool little exhibit. Then I have the card of the calligraphy teacher for this calligraphy class that I went to like the second day actually, and then I did a little bit of calligraphy. So the thing actually says time is gold, but the kind of equivalent in English is time is money, so it's not a direct translation. And then I just wrote that was the day that we went to the calligraphy class. I went with Yuna. She actually was the one who she found out about it, and she was like, hey, do you want to go? I was like, yes, absolutely. I definitely want to go to a Korean calligraphy class, so we did that. Then this was a little stamp book that they had, from the Palace Museum. So I just wrote in here, that was like, what was your favorite thing? And I really liked the makeup exhibit that they had, so that was the favorite thing. And then I just wrote the date that I actually went. And then these were a couple of pictures from the pamphlet that I just stuck on here to kind of fill out the page. This was from the day that I went to Insadong, so I just had the neighborhood in Korean and English, and then the date. I got a little card at this place, so I stuck that in. Got some stuff here, so like this was cute stationery in the agenda store. This was the place where I got my name stamp and some handmade paper. There's a K-pop cafe, but I don't actually have the card for it. This is just the same card for this place. And then this was a little art store that I found. So, oops, there we go. And I didn't do anything on the back here just because it's vellum, so you would see it. Then this was a card from a stationery shop I found, and another little ginseng leaf. Then this is the card for the place. I got porridge at this place like probably 5 times. It was a little bit tough finding safe food for me to eat as a celiac, but this place was amazing and they got to know me. I actually had another cafe that I went to a bunch, and the evening worker, she actually remembered me and she would just be like, so a chai? I'm like, yep. So it was nice. I became a regular in some places. This was from a little pamphlet. I didn't actually go on this tour, but they actually have a tour about the K-drama Goblin, and I just thought that was really cool, so I just saved that particular page. And I just wrote on here that I didn't actually do the tour, but I thought it was cool. Oops. This was from the Palace Museum. They had a little stand where you could do like a vellum tracing, so I just did this. Super messy, but I thought it was cute. I got the Little Prince in Korean and in English, so I actually happen to have some Little Prince washi tape, so I just did a little thing over here, and this is just the Little Prince in Korean. And then I have some stamps from when I went to the time, so I just have the date, and that I got my little blue Traveler's Notebook wallet, which I've been wanting to get. I literally wrote it down probably 2 years ago as like one of my like big someday goals, was that I wanted to get specifically the blue Traveler's Notebook from this specific store in Korea, and I finally did it, which is amazing. So I just have like a whole spread here that I went to the time. Then this was the little thing from this notebook that I got in Korean that it's all in Korean, which was what I was specifically looking for. And I want to use it to help me practice writing in Korean. Then this was some information from my flight over. They had the little like menu card was in English, French, and Korean. So I tore out the French and the Korean version. So I have what the menu was. This isn't actually what I ate because I have a special meal, but I thought it was really cool to have both of those in those 2 languages. Then I have this page, which was all of the me-made pieces that I brought with me on my trip. I actually had, as you can see, quite a lot. My goal was really to bring as much me-made stuff as I could, but still pack like super minimal. And so yeah, did a little drawing with all those. I have the Seoul Metro map in here. So I have Seoul in English and in Korean. So I just kind of saved that. Oops. Then I did an entire spread for Halloween because I was there on Halloween, and I had a bunch of these cute stickers that I just wanted to use up. So just threw that in there. I also have a little pen test. So I will show you guys these pens in the haul that I do, but I got a couple of gel pens and brush pens and a white jelly roll. Oop. Oh, this one, there's something glued. There we go. So this is for, so I happened to come to this palace. It is which palace is this? This is the DOOSUNG palace. And I was just walking by there and I happened to get there like 10 minutes before the changing of the guard ceremony started. So I stayed for that. And then I just grabbed a little pamphlet that has information and stuck that in here. Then this was a little card for a coffee shop I found one day, so I just stuck that in there because I thought it was cute. This is information from a thing at the typography exhibit that I went to. So I found one day while I was over by Seoul Station, I found this like cultural center, and they happened to have this typography exhibit, which was super cool. So they had this. This was actually with this stuff. So you got all of these fun different pieces of paper, and they actually give you like a little strip to put it through, and there's holes on the top of all of them to make a little collage. So I just stuck mine in here so that I would have it, but I wanted to do that. And unfortunately my glue runner leaves this on the back, which you can see on the vellum, but oh well. So yeah, that was a really, really cool exhibit to just like kind of randomly find. And yeah. This is one of the few pages I haven't used. Didn't really do anything on this one. So this is where my little Korean restaurant card went, because I have the small laminated one in my purse, and I didn't end up needing this one at all. So I was like, oh, I'll just stick it in my junk journal, and that way I have it. Oops, here. I went to the National Hangul Museum, which was so cool. And this is just information from one of the rooms that they had, and it was the smallest pamphlet, so I just stuck it in there. And then, let's see. This was from the day that I went to Itaewon, so I found the vegan cafe plant, but they also have gluten-free stuff, so it was awesome. And then I actually didn't get any cards or anything aside, like the pamphlet was too big to fit here, and I stopped by the Korean War Memorial and I didn't get cards for any of this stuff. And unfortunately, MUJI, which is a stationery store, was closed that day, which, oh, I was so sad about that, but oh well. This was something they gave us on the flight. It was just information about like if you've been to these countries and have been exposed to like these particular diseases and like what to do or whatever. Didn't actually apply to me because France isn't on the list, but I just thought it was cool because it was in English and in Korean, so I just stuck that in there. And then this was from the last night we went to, so I met up with Yuna and her husband and we went to a little cafe, and I just love the little mustache on the coffee sleeve. So I just stole that, and then the little back part also had some mustaches and the different drinks. And then I have my boarding pass, and I kept it mostly because this backside was super cute. So I just kind of stuck it in there, and I just have bye for now. And then the back here. So that is what I used to document my trip. So it's basically like this thick. And then here, before I finish up, this was the other little piece that I used. So this was, if you saw my IGTV video on budgeting while I'm in Korea, this was where I tracked all of the different like things that I spent, where I got stuff from, kind of keeping a running list. So I am actually going to archive this with my other two inserts. So if you want to see more about this, check out that IGTV video. I will see if I can do a link down in the description box. I have to figure out how that actually will work. But I didn't actually do anything. I purchased, I think, coffee, and I didn't write it down in here because it then wasn't super necessary. So I do still have to finish updating everything in YNAB, but this at least really helped me while I was on the ground. And then in the back, I just have a couple of little doodles and notes and stuff. So that was how I documented my trip. I really, really liked this method. I found it to be really useful. It was nice. It was nice not having my bullet journal with me for once. You know, there are some trips where I have a ton of downtime and it's like really chill, and so I want to have my bullet journal. But with this one, I really wanted to have something that was a little bit smaller than my normal planning system, but still was able to allow me to work on stuff. And not like work on stuff in the sense of like actually work, but be able to have a place to put, for example, the things that I wanted to do and, you know, the things that I needed to work on when I got home, but then also have a place to journal and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was such a great trip. Like, it was so much fun. I'm so glad that I went. It was also one of my top 5 goals for 2019, which is amazing. I got that like checked off, and I am already thinking about going back because it was so great. I definitely want to study more Korean and go back and try and speak it a little bit more. I was able to like do little things, but like it would be nice to actually be able to have a conversation with people. So it was just such an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I now have all of these memories that I can look back on and remember. Especially if I go back, then I'll have some information. If I want to go back to certain places, I have some information in here that I can check out. So that is all I have for you guys today. If you have any comments or questions, let me know down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are actually watching my end screen and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would. There's a little button right there for you to do it. And if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I have links to 2 of my older videos off to the left there, so you can check those out if you would like to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.